Breaking news in the Sean Diddy Combs case. He's back in federal court today in Manhattan, this time trying to secure...
Pardon me?
That was before they
Don't get brazen with me. You knew very...
A lot of people allowed it to go on, said nothing, didn't intervene, maybe benefited from it, profited from it. All of these individuals and entities, in my view, have exposed.
The music mogul was denied bail yesterday after his arrest on sex trafficking and other charges.
I'm not going to talk about anything that I haven't said in court or in the papers. These are all great questions, but I'm just not going to get into it.
So can you speak about your concerns about the leak and the video?
I did it in the court papers, and I'm just going to stick to the court.
Man, I ain't gonna lie. I've been holding a lot of shit lately. Man, I just had like a 3.5 hour cry where I just like let it all out.
Imagine being so sure you're going to get away with it that the judge slams the gavel down in your face. Diddy thought he had everything figured out, but when the judge denied his bail plea, he started to worry. As Diddy's trial gets underway, music mogul Sean Diddy Combs seems to be growing more anxious, especially as public support for Diddy wanes. Not even his closest relatives and friends have stood up for him.
So much time defending this man. This man was allowed to be with every presidential candidate. He was allowed to throw parties. He was hailed as a hero. And yet behind the scenes, everyone knew that this is what he was engaged in. This was an open secret in Hollywood.
Recently, a court denied his bail, putting him in jail, something he most likely never would have imagined. Diddy is reportedly afraid that a longer jail sentence may ruin his reputation and career as he copes with the consequences of his actions.
I want to be clear that the press and the media public at large is shocked by what's happening, but we really are just getting to the beginning of everything.
Diddy is still awaiting the appeals court's decision on his third bail request, but he was back in court last Thursday to get the latest updates on his case. As his sex trafficking trial draws near, his lawyers have generally kept quiet during the sessions. However, it has been reported that they attempted to have a key piece of evidence against him in court suppressed. They also discussed some of the evidence that was obtained from his mansion and the trial date. Given that Diddy's detention has lasted longer than he had expected, his circumstances appear to have taken a major turn recently. And trust me when I say that Diddy made a serious mistake by choosing to side with the judge overseeing his case. He may have to spend a considerable amount of time in the MDC jail, which is known as hell on earth. Circuit Judge William J. Nardini denied Diddy's request for immediate release on Friday. Following the denial of Diddy's release by two previous courts, Diddy's lawyers appealed his bail request to the U.S. Court of Appeals for the Second Circuit on September 30th.
Breaking news in the Sean Diddy Combs case. He's back in federal court today in Manhattan, this time trying to secure bail. The music mogul was denied bail yesterday after his arrest on sex trafficking and other charges.
For those who don't know, Diddy has been detained in a federal jail located in Brooklyn since his arrest on September 16th. He is charged of taking advantage of his fame and influence to lure women into drug abuse and excessive sex with male prostitutes, a practice known as freak-offs. With the help of his associates, Diddy allegedly coerced and mistreated women for years, using threats of violence, extortion, and even kidnapping to silence victims. Diddy has pleaded not guilty to charges of sex trafficking and racketeering conspiracy.
Say that the charges stem from years of sexual abuse and threats to women. He has pleaded not guilty to those charges, and he made that plea yesterday.
Let's get back to the courtroom drama. At a court hearing about 3 weeks ago, a judge rejected Diddy's $50 million bond offer, which would have allowed him to remain under house arrest at his Florida estate with GPS tracking and strict visitor limitations. Despite Diddy's best efforts to leave jail, it appears that his sentence is harsher and longer than he had expected. Since his bail has already been denied twice and he is apparently pursuing the judge, his chances are not good. In addition to trying to prove Diddy's innocence, his lawyers are arguing that he is not a threat to the community. Prosecutors had provided clear and convincing evidence that Diddy was a public danger, according to Judge Andrew L. Carter Jr., who later resigned from the case. The judge ruled that no criterion, alone or in combination, could prevent Diddy from intimidating witnesses or obstructing the investigation. In their appeal, Diddy's lawyers argued that the judge had accepted the government's exaggerated language, throwing Diddy in jail on purely speculative grounds. When the lawyers wrote, "He is hardly a flight risk." He is a 54-year-old American citizen who has accomplished remarkable success as an artist, entrepreneur, and philanthropist. In addition, he is among the most famous people in the planet. Diddy's lawyers have not yet requested the new trial judge, Arun Subramanian, to reconsider bail. However, Subramanian indicated that he could be open to discussing it during a hearing on Thursday, where Diddy was seated beside his lawyers in a beige jail jumpsuit. After setting aside May 5th as the trial date, the judge asked Diddy's lawyers a few questions on his treatment at the Metropolitan Detention Center MDC, a prison infamous for its issues with dysfunction and violence. "We're making a go of the MDC," stated Mark Agnifilo, one of Diddy's lawyers who sought to move him to a prison in New Jersey in the past. "The MDC's response to us has been outstanding." Diddy's second lawyer, Anthony Rico, spoke to reporters outside the courthouse. "He's doing great. He's trying his hardest in a difficult circumstance," Rico said. "Nobody's okay with staying in jail." Earlier this week, Combs' lawyer Alexandra Shapiro filed a motion for pretrial release, although she acknowledged that this case involves special and unusual circumstances. She insisted that Diddy shouldn't be refused bail or had to defend himself while in jail as a result. According to Shapiro, Combs was arrested soon after being charged, despite having been in the public eye his entire life. She emphasized that there is very little chance that he would run away because he is a 54-year-old father of 7 and a globally recognized individual. The media frenzy surrounding Sean Combs' arrest has skewed opinions about his bond status. Despite his readiness to follow strict rules to ensure he wouldn't flee or put anyone in risk, he hasn't been released. A recent lawsuit raised concerns about allegations that he drugged and sexually assaulted a 13-year-old girl in 2000. Combs and an unnamed male celebrity allegedly assaulted the plaintiff in one lawsuit, which was filed in the Southern District of New York, while an unnamed female celebrity looked on. According to the lawsuit, she was taken to the MTV Video Music Awards after party. According to Busby, the plaintiff's law firm, it plans to file more than 120 complaints against Combs, including 5 new ones. There are serious questions about the seriousness of the claims given how quickly this situation is unfolding. The claims that Diddy exploited Justin Bieber and Usher during their adolescence are now widely believed. Many people have responded on social media, wondering what a 13-year-old was doing at a party and why no one raised an alarm. The lawsuit claims that Combs and other individuals attacked the victim after she became dizzy from drinking. The plaintiff, who now resides in Alabama, asserts that this incident has resulted in lifelong grief and suffering. In response, Combs' legal team has vehemently denied all of the accusations, stated that Mr. Combs has never sexually assaulted anyone, and expressed confidence that the truth will be revealed in court. For the first time, Diddy seems to be recognizing that he might not be able to use his words to escape this situation. The idea of spending years or maybe decades behind bars must have caused him a great deal of stress, which is likely what led to his collapse in court. For someone used to a life of luxury, the thought of being held captive at one of the most notorious prisons in the country is quite unsettling. When Diddy and other well-known inmates enter the criminal justice system, they face unique psychological challenges.
Thing to note too is he wasn't shackled, but he was wearing a khaki prison-like jumpsuit.
Although he has had a luxurious lifestyle, the public has kept a careful eye on him. That's all gone now. The complete loss of all that made him who he was outside the prison walls must be as painful as the physical loneliness. Sitting in a barren cell with nothing to think about must make him feel as though the walls are closing in on him. Authorities are keeping a careful eye on him out of concern that he might injure himself.
Man, I ain't gonna lie. I've been holding a lot of lately. Man, I just had like a 3.5 hour cry where I just let it all out.
The MDC is infamous for its terrible conditions, which include days-long power outages, filthy facilities, and freezing cells in the winter and unbearable heat in the summer. Currently, Diddy, who is used to living in mansions, spends 23 hours a day in a 6-by-9-foot cage with few amenities. Diddy sees the incident as an extreme contrast to his unimaginably rich lifestyle. Only 1 hour a day is allowed for him to leave his cell, and that is only to enter a small enclosed yard. He has no contact with other inmates and is completely isolated from the outside world, save for the on-duty guards. If Diddy is found guilty, he might spend the rest of his life behind bars, which is a scary prospect. This well-known case has sparked strong reactions online, with many people questioning the luxury of freedom. What are your thoughts on this matter? If you missed the most current Diddy developments, feel free to watch the video to catch up and leave a comment below.